Do you ever feel like you have very limited control over your emotions? Well, Ayanokoji believes that anger and sadness are just emotions that cloud the mind. To win, you must remain calm and detached. Ayanokoji is this calm, calculated guy who rarely lets his emotions take over. Why? Because he understands that being emotionally controlled gives him a power that's unbeatable. Get ready as we analyze how Ayanokoji's approach to emotional control gives him this unique kind of power, because it's time for us to learn how to keep calm and controlled in the face of challenging circumstances. So, let's begin. Pause and reflect. One of the coolest tricks I have learned when it comes to handling strong emotions is the good old pause and reflect move. Here's the deal. So whenever you feel a rush of intense feelings, simply press the pause button before any kind of reaction. It's like taking a mental break. In the anime classroom of the elite, Ayanokoji discovers that Kushida, who appeared to be all sunshine and rainbows, was actually plotting something shady. She threatens to make false accusations against Ayanokoji if he reveals her true identity. But here's the best part. Ayanokoji doesn't lose his cool. Nope, not a bit. Instead of panicking or throwing a fit, he remains as cool as a cucumber. It's like he's got this emotional shield, and it turns out that calm composure of his helps him slip out of the whole mess like a ninja. Now consider yourself in a similar situation when someone makes charges against you out of nowhere. It could be in school, work, or even with friends. Instead of letting emotions take control, you can press the pause button. Think about it. Ayanokoji didn't fall into the panic mode right away. He kept his cool, which allowed him to handle the situation like a pro. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being in control. So practically, when you are faced with drama, take that mental pause. Don't go with the first emotional response that comes to mind. Allow things to sink in. You can ask yourself questions like, is this really worth getting worked up about? Or, what's the best way to handle this without blowing up? It's like training a muscle. The more you hit that pause button in smaller, everyday situations, the more it becomes the second nature. So the next time when you face an unexpected situation, remember to pause, reflect, and then respond. This brings us to the second point, that is, control your desires. It is critical to be aware of your desires and attachments, because getting overly attached to external things may trigger emotional turmoil. The key to this is learning to be content with what we have and practicing discipline. Let's talk about something cool from the anime, especially about our man Ayanokoji. So at this high school they use a point system. Each student receives 100k points per month, which is like free money. Most students go on a spending spree buying all sorts of things, assuming they will get more points than next month. But not our guy Ayanokoji. He's the cautious one. And here comes the twist. At the end of the month, everyone's confused because they didn't get more points. It turns out that the points are awarded on merit, and the class as a whole failed due to their carelessness and lack of effort. Ayanokoji, on the other hand, didn't fall for the temptation to spend extravagantly. His cautious and grounded approach reflects a level of emotional control that distinguishes him from the others in the story. Instead of impulsively following the crowd, he remained composed and strategic, ultimately proving to be the most wise person in the anime. This situation arises in our daily lives, especially with social media bombarding us with highlights of others' lives. We feel the urge to keep up with friends on social media. When you see them splurging on fancy stuff, and suddenly there's this fear of missing out, that is FOMO. But here's the thing, just because they are doing it doesn't mean you have to. So if a friend posts about a fancy dinner, it is natural to be left out. But instead of succumbing to the pressure, detach yourself emotionally. Understand that your journey and financial situation are different. So rather than following what others are doing, focus on your goals and priorities. Now, what practical steps should be taken? First, pause before making any impulsive decisions. Ask yourself if this aligns with your goals. Second, set and stick to realistic financial goals. And third, instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own self-improvement. And while we are on the subject of self-improvement, what better way to master your emotions than to understand what's within your grasp and what is not? In the anime, Ayanokoji went through this intense white room training program that taught him a thing or two about controlling his reactions. Let me break it down for you. When it comes to life, there are certain things we can control, such as our thoughts, actions, and how we respond to what is going on around us. Ayanokoji mastered this. When confronted with a situation, he would calmly assess what he could do about it, and if the action was required, he would do it. Simple. But there's a bunch of stuff we can't control. Like seriously, no matter how hard we try, we can't control what other people do or how they feel. It's just not in our power, and Ayanokoji figured this out during his training. He realized that instead of getting all worked up about things beyond his control, he would focus on what he could influence. Now let's talk about when the situation might arouse in real life. Imagine someone being negative towards you or doing something that irritates you. That's when you gotta ask yourself, can I do something about it? If yes, then take constructive action. If no, then it's time to let it go. Save your energy for things that genuinely matters. And here's the beauty of it. When you make this a habit, you are not only in control, but you are also saving yourself from unnecessary stress. It's like having a personal vacuum training for your own emotions. And you turn into this calm and collected individual who can't be easily provoked. Much like Ayanokoji. Emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is really about understanding and managing your own emotions. And it's not just about recognizing when you're happy or sad. It's about being tuned into the emotion of others. It's like having an emotional radar that allows you to connect with others better and understand where they are coming from. You are going to meet a few people in your life who would like to play with your emotions. They seem to have a script for provoking reactions from you. The trick is to see through their game. Watch out for signs of manipulations, like when you find it hard to think logically around them or notice subtle digs in their words. People may not show their true self, especially in public, but they might put on a mask and act differently behind the scenes. When you notice someone playing mind games, take a step back. Ask yourself how much energy you are going to spend on them. Analyze their motives. Are they trying to feel superior, or maybe they are just envious? Once you understand their game, you will be in a better position to evaluate how much attention they deserve from you. These situations can pop up anywhere, at work, in a social circle, or even in your favorite coffee shop. So how do you keep your calm in the face of emotional manipulation? First off, be aware. Notice when someone's playing games. Second, set those boundaries. Don't let anyone mess with your emotional space. And lastly, focus on what truly matters, your peace of mind. So there you have it, guys. We have taken a quick trip into the world of emotional control, guided by the lessons of Ayanokoji Kiyotaka. Remember, emotions might try to pull you in all directions, but you have got the power to stay calm and composed. Ayanokoji's approach teaches us that keeping a level head allows us to see the bigger picture, make strategic decisions, and most importantly, stay in control. So the next time your emotions try to take control, remember this: keep your cool, stay detached, and keep moving towards your goals. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.